Hey guys, this is Kyle from Mountain Woodworking. Today we're going to finish up a walnut coffee table that we poured on our previous video. Here we're mixing up the jungle green pigment into the epoxy, just making sure that everything's thoroughly stirred, and then we'll be ready to pour. We're going to pour into all the holes, all the checks, to make sure everything's covered. We spread out the epoxy and kind of over pour it, again, just to make sure that everything's getting filled, and it'll be good to go. We let the epoxy sit for a few days to fully harden. As you can see, it's not fully to the top, so we went ahead and mixed up another batch and just poured to top everything off. After that, it was fully cured and we are ready to move on to the sanding. We started by removing the mold, which kept all the epoxy in. Started with 36 grit, went to 80 grit, and worked all the way up to 180. Just making sure to get it all sanded down. We sanded the edges, removing any loose bark or anything that'll flake off during the finish process. Once Tony is finished sanding up to 180, we're going to start the finish process. We start by hand rubbing the first coat in, just making sure to cover every inch of this. Eventually this is going to be buffed in with a buffer to force the finish into the pores and make this thing resistant to water. So he's going to just start rubbing it all in, making sure he gets everything covered, and then we'll move on and buff everything in to make sure it gets a nice even coat throughout the table. Here's the buffing process. Again, this is used to force the finish down into the pores to get an even coat and to make sure that the coffee table is sealed. We decided to match this walnut top up with a white cedar stump. Going into this build, we weren't sure what color epoxy we wanted to use on this. We've never used this jungle green before, so we were pretty excited to try it. We're pretty happy how it turned out. Really excited with the color that's in there. I'm really looking forward to being able to use it again in future projects. Let us know what colors you guys want to see in the future pours. See ya!